Hi, my name's Rick Shiels down here at Trafford Golf Centre in Manchester, and today we have got a battle of the Callaways, but not the battle that you're probably expecting. This is from the 1997 Callaway Warbird Great Big Bertha, one of the first titanium drivers, against this year's X Hot, Callaway X Hot. What we're going to kind of look at today is the distances between them, which one's kind of, are we getting a massive amount of advantage now using this latest technology? We have brands that are coming out saying we're hitting it 10 yards further, 17 yards further, all this million miles further. Well, let's put it to the test. We've got 16 years between these two golf clubs, so there should be a lot of difference between them both. The R&A recently have done a test. In 1996, they did a review on handicap golfers and the average distance that they are driving the golf ball. And for a club golfer, it's about 200 yards. They did it last year in 2012, and that had jumped just 8 yards. So it's now 208 yards, the average distance. Now, that's not really that big of a jump considering all the latest bits of technology, all the things that we've been researching, and the size of the golf club. The interesting thing is in 1996, 20 plus handicappers, only 55% of them were actually even using drivers, where now 20 odd handicappers, it's gone up to 90 odd percent. So most people are using drivers now, obviously because they're considerably bigger, but the thing is they're starting to use these a lot more. Maybe it's more of a marketing ploy that people are starting to use drivers, but have they changed much? So the spec on these two bad boys, we've got them in as close to spec as I can. This is a 9 degree and this is 9.5, so I couldn't get the 9 degree Callaway. I don't tend to do it anymore, but I've got the 9 degree in the Warbird here. Head size, this is really interesting. This is 250cc. And this is now 460cc, so there's a massive difference in head size, and you can really appreciate that when you set it up behind the ball. I've just been hitting a few of these as a tester. I've been using different tee heights as well, because obviously with the shallowness of the face, that doesn't allow me to hit off the big tee anymore. Lengthwise, the Callaway, the new Callaway, is about an inch longer. Interestingly though, they've got very similar grips. Whether this is the original grip, I'm not 100%, but it certainly looks like it's still in keeping with the golf club. So the new Callaway is a little bit longer. So again, that's another way of them being able to produce more power, more club head speed to hit the ball further. So I'm going to get it on flight scope. I'm going to hit some real golf balls. I'm going to whiz through the next kind of few shots. What I'm going to try and get is 5 very, very similar golf shots from each club. That way the results are going to be the best, most accurate results that I can provide to you guys. And then we'll look at the flight scope data at the end and see which of these two Callaways is the longest. If it's not this one, there's going to be words to say. If it's not the X Hot, I'd be really surprised. But I want to see kind of what the difference is, if there is a difference. Is it 20, 30, 40 yards? What's your predictions now? Think about how far you'd expect the technology to have gone in such a length of time. And then we'll have a look at the figures and see how close you were to it. So here we have the figures of the Callaway Great Big Bertha first. I'm going to do the old school one first off. Now what's interesting here, we see that down this left hand column, 243 yards average carry. That's with real golf balls down here at Manchester, so it's a normal kind of day. I would say I'd probably hit the ball a little bit further than that normally on an average day, but as the temperature drops a touch, that distance starts to drop a fraction. As we go across, it's rolled out then to 251. 106 club head speed was the average club head speed, which is very interesting because that's normally a little bit lower than what I would normally get. So whether the shaft quality represents that a little bit as well. Smash factor, now I've got smash factor there is 1.44, so I was hitting them fairly nice. Like I said, I kind of handpicked most of them to get the fairest comparison I could. I was trying to use the best, most similar smash factor and the most similar club head speed. All the rest of the figures look good. 2.9 spin rate, 13.4 vertical launch angle, but for an old 16-year-old club, 2.43 is not too far away. If we look at the new one, the X Hot, so this has gone 248 yards. There's just a 5-yard gap between the two. Can you believe that? All that technology has only moved the ball 5 yards further. Now, it's rolled out a little bit further, 259. What is interesting though in this column just here is that my club head speed has massively increased. Now, whether that's the length of the golf club and the technology of the shaft, whether it's a bit lighter, that's gone certainly a lot longer. Interestingly, my smash factor's gone a little bit further down, so it's gone down to 1.41. What I found with these ones is that even if I didn't quite find it out the middle, it took me less shots to hand pick 5 with the Callaway X Hot. There's no question about it. It took me probably straight the first 5 it took me. Spin rate a little bit higher than that, and pretty much the rest of the figures look pretty good. If we look at the ball flight, this is the ball flight of the, I'll do the Great Big Bertha first. You can see dispersion is a bit all over the show, as you would imagine. So I've got straight ones, left ones, a little couple of right ones, quite mixed ball flights really, where on the X Hot you can see there how much more consistent the ball flights are. So that's another big thing where the technology has moved on. Like I said, this is not just a test to test distance, this is for accuracy, forgiveness, giving us the whole idea of the shots. If we look at the dispersion, this is a very interesting one. The Callaway Great Big Bertha dispersion was at 19 yards, where the Callaway X Hot is only at 9, so the dispersion was much tighter with the X Hot, the new one. So even though the distances haven't really increased much, certainly the easiness of hit, the accuracy with the new ones is much more advanced. But considering that I bought the Callaway Big Bertha for £15 out of the shop, it was in the bargain bin, it's not a bad little purchase compared to some of the 200-300 drivers that are out currently. So we've seen the figures, and unbelievable how little difference there are between these two golf clubs. We've got 16 years of technology that's moved on, and the ball is only carrying 5 yards further, just 5 yards with the new X Hot. No question it is easier to hit. There's no question about that. Sometimes I didn't hit it quite as middled and I didn't get as punished, whereas the Great Big Bertha was harder to hit. There's no question about that. One other thing that was very interesting in that test, and we've seen the results a minute ago, is that I was only gaining about 106 miles per hour club head speed with the Big Bertha, yet with the X Hot I was nearer to 112. So whether that extra kind of inch or so, and maybe a little bit lighter possibly, gives me that extra bit of club head speed, quite possibly so. But for all that technology, all we've done is we've made it a little bit more forgiving, generated more club head speed by making it a bit longer and a bit lighter, and therefore the ball's gone 5 yards further on carry and probably about 5 or 6 yards further on roll as well. Just seen on the test there on the X Hot, that did seem to roll out a little bit further for whatever reason. It didn't launch any different, so whether the technology has made that, to be fair, the spin was very similar as well, so that might just be the flight Scott readings I was getting off those two. But unbelievable how little gap there is between these two golf clubs. So the RNA test that's been happening recently isn't false, it's absolutely spot on. We've seen an 8-yard increase in average distance, and we've seen technology not really advance that too much. So the question I kind of pose then is what's going to move the game forward? I'd love to see the same test. Let's say you take the same group of 10 people in 1996 and brought them to the future, give 5 of them new equipment, new technology, and give 5 of them golf lessons and run them parallel to each other and see which of those two would improve the best. Now, I'm massively biased on this, as you would imagine. I would imagine 100% that the 5 golfers that were taking golf lessons for that length of time and using maybe even old technology would be out driving the 5 that just didn't take golf lessons but kept changing their technology to the newest and greatest and latest, and 10 yards further, 17 yards further, however far it's going to be. So really interesting test there, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Please do check me out on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers I get, the more videos I'll do. I've got loads of tips, hints, and I've got loads of reviews there as well. Thanks very much for watching.